So we're
Okay.
live there. It'll give people a chance, a minute or two to come in anyway. If I come over to here, and then
Well, it's a bit last minute, isn't it? So I'm not sure how many people will see this, but there we go.
yeah, waiting for now. Public, in control room. Right. I want to add. Have you ever done this before?
What's that?
In the live comments, it says start a Q&A poll.
Yeah.
Add a poll. Start a poll. Kaierin. There we go. And start poll. Who won this week? Well, yeah. There we go. I got a poll. I've never done that before in all the time I've been doing this.
There we go.
Then, hopefully, I won't have a problem though. Come back to there. Right. So we got a couple in already. Right. Okay. You good to go?
I just voted for myself just to check the poll was working. I just voted for myself, so it seems it's all right now.
Okay. So, welcome. Thank you very much for clicking on. This is round two, part two of the road battles. The antique road battles between Kieran of Taliesin Antiques and myself. We do these for a bit of fun and a bit of education and entertainment at the same time, where you get to see what we bought and we'll have a little chat. And you get to vote today to see who you think won. So let me know if it's in the comments because it should be. I've never done it before, so fingers crossed that it's working. Do you want to introduce yourself, Key?
Yeah, so I'm Kieran Hughes Jones. As said on screen, my website is taliesinantiques.com. Also have my own YouTube channel, which is Taliesin Antiques. Been doing it quite a little bit less time than Walter, the old antique stuff, but a few years in now. And yeah, we've done this once before. Just want to clarify, it is the Antiques Road Battle. It doesn't go by any other name that could annoy the BBC or anything like that.
Yeah.
Do you want to mention that at all?
Hey, look at that. We got a vote for you already, right? And we haven't started. That's favoritism.
It might have been me. I was just checking the poll was working okay.
You're voting for
At
yourself.
least we know it works, yeah.
Okay. I'll remember that one, you crafty sod. Right then. Okay, so Kieran and I, we went out to Abergavenny. We were going to start off at Abergavenny. We were going to go from Abergavenny to Ross on Wye, up to Monmouth, and then finish off in Gloucester Antique Centre. The day turned out extremely long, extremely busy, and we never made it to Gloucester. We done Abergavenny, we did Ross on Wye, we did Monmouth, and then we called it a day. Now, before we show the items we bought, do you want to have a little chat about the day and what you thought of the day and how it went and your thoughts?
Yeah, definitely. So Abergavenny market, yeah, I've been a couple of times before. Not as much as I probably should have been, considering it's not that far away. Was it about 45-minute drive to an hour drive? But yeah, it was good. I enjoyed we went. Nice early start there. Interesting things to see. And it seems like a good place to maybe go regular if you can. Drove up to Ross and Wye. I think we were both. That's why we didn't make it to Gloucester. I think is because there was a lot more in Ross and Wye than we expected. A lot of charity shops, a lot of antique vintagey type shops. Seems like a very touristy town to me. And as a result, we were there longer than expected. I think we said both in our videos as well, we didn't get as much as we were hoping for, considering how much was there. And Monmouth, well, we come on to Monmouth, but I think just had a nice surprise in Monmouth with a very nice antique shop.
Monmouth was amazing. Abergavenny, start back at the beginning. We got Abergavenny by about 7 o'clock, 7:10, somewhere over there. And Abergavenny was a lot quieter than it normally is. It certainly wasn't full. The market wasn't full, not every table was in use. And while we were there, not every dealer had set up. So we were very fortunate to be walking around as they're putting stuff on the table. So we had first pickings, if you like. There wasn't a lot of people walking around. Most of the people walking around were other stall holders. There were a few dealers by about up at 7, 8 o'clock. But early on, we had a pretty good chance, didn't we? There was only a few other dealers there early on. Now, I bought quite a bit off Richard and a couple of stalls near Richard. I had some lovely stuff. I'm really pleased with Abergavenny. It's definitely worth a trip, and we'll do that one again. Absolutely fabulous market. Ross on Wye. Now, how disappointing was Ross on Wye?
Yeah, just pricey. Well, it's the only way you can put it. Very pricey place, and it's a theme running throughout the whole town. Now, look, with dealers, obviously, it's easy to be cynical about us saying that because you might just think that, well, we'd be the same. But I would say that they were asking more on the most part than I would for the same items.
Yeah, but that's the point anyway, because we're not going out there looking to pay retail. We're not judging people saying they're expensive on the fact that maybe they're expensive for retail. We're saying basically there's no trade value on there. That's what we're saying. We can't go there and buy as trade. We're not running them down on their pricing for Joe Public or for retail, but there was nothing in Ross on Wye realistically that I would have bought. And we went to a salvage yard when it that Ross Recycling or something like that. Lovely salvage yard. It had some amazing signs on the wall. You fell in love with a couple of them, and they wouldn't sell none.
No, that was a collection. It's their business; they can do what they want. They must get that question a lot, though, to the point where they must start getting sick of it. Because they have an amazing collection. It's worth going to see it. But I wouldn't go there again because I just get annoyed by the fact you can't buy anything there. You can buy plenty there, but you can't buy any there in Amazon. Yeah, and I think as I'm not sure. See, the price in there I did think was expensive retail. By the way, I'm not just making the point of they're too expensive for the dealer, but I'm not. There must be a reason for that. Maybe they have got a good tourist trade where people do come in and people in a different mindset, aren't they, when they go into places on a visit or maybe even on holiday.
There's a lot of millionaires live in Ross as well, mind.
Wealthy area, yeah. Nice historic town. So it's a nice part of the country. So
yeah,
that could well be why. I'm sure there's reasoning behind it. I just felt that was just my feeling there. So I was walking around thinking most things in this place are too pricey for me, whether I was buying for myself or as trade. But I'm sure there's a reason for it. I'm not gonna. There must be a reason for it. The whole place wouldn't be like that, would they? Otherwise, they wouldn't be.
They're obviously making money to still be opening, and they looked like they were doing well. Now they had a couple of outstanding pieces here. Those pair of cast iron dogs, 4-foot tall cast iron dogs, were absolutely spectacular. They had a 4-foot tall cast iron bull.
Yeah.
There's some really outstanding pieces in there, wasn't I got to be honest. It was nice just to walk around and have a look at some of the pieces.
Yeah, 100%. I say those signs. I probably can afford them anyway. If they're part of a collection, you know what he's doing anyway. But they were exceptional. You need to see signs of that quality, better.
Yeah, they were 4-figure signs. That's for sure. Most of them, they were nice signs. So anyway, Ross on Wye was a disaster. I think I bought 2 items in Ross in the entire town. 2 or 3 items. That's all I bought. You were similar, I think. And Monmouth. We did Monmouth and we lucked in at the very end, didn't we? We had some lovely buys. So should we get started on showing what we bought? I've sort of put it in order. So I've got sort of Abergavenny first, and then I don't know what I bought in what shops. So I've just sort of got the second half like that. So what do you want to do? Do you want to go one for one?
I haven't. Mine won't be in order at all. I don't think it'll just be for a list. So whichever way you think's best, given that.
If you sort your screen share out, we'll go one for one, and we'll have a little look and get through them and see what we bought, and people can have a vote. Let's see if anybody has voted it other than you.
I'm winning.
There's another vote in.
Who's that?
So, do you want to go first? Do you want to go second? What do you want to do?
Go on, I'll go first. It won't be in
Since
order.
this is going on my my website now, I'm going to give the prices anyway on what I bought because it's going to be an educational video. So I'm going to share my prices. It's up to you if you want to share yours or if you want to give a total. It's up to you. But I'm going to share what I paid for each item as it comes along.
Yeah, that's fine. Hang on a minute. Share screen. That's sharing okay?
Yeah, do you want to check one up first, Dan?
Just hopefully they don't those Netskis don't annoy you at YouTube. So we'll start with this one. Can you see that?
I can.
There we go. So this was picked up in Monmouth, actually, in one of the charity shops. Now, I bought it because it's the mark at the bottom, made in Denmark. I thought it was Royal Copenhagen. It was actually a competitor of Royal Copenhagen during the mid-20th century. How do you say it? Bing & Grøndal, who merged with Royal Copenhagen porcelain in like the 80s or something like that. And it's just a little rat figure, tiny little thing. Bought it because I knew it would picture up nicely. You can just see in those images, it's just got a nice little pleasing look.
I think you bought it because you was hoping it was a Worcester Netsky.
Yeah, I put that in my video. I mean, I obviously knew when I bought it by that point because I'd seen it, but when I asked to look at it out of the cabinet, I thought it would be one. So Royal Worcester Netsky, which is basically a bit on the bait. I won't go into detail of what a Netsky is, but it's a little Japanese kind of toggle used on their dress traditionally. Yep. And then Royal Worcester did a porcelain version, for obviously for collectors at some point, and they fetch like I think like 300 quid or something like that, like a good one. So I thought it was one of them. It turned out to be this little pit thing. I think this came in around £15 actually. It was a bit of a pricey one. And it was from a charity shop.
35.
I've asked for 35 on it, yeah. There we go. That's my first one. Do you want me to keep going or do you want to do one yourself?
Yeah, we'll go one for one. Get your other one ready while I do mine.
Stop. There we go.
And share the screen. Okay, so can you see that?
Yes.
Okay. Right. Okay, so this was my first buy of the day, which is a 18th century tinned copper charger. It's not a plate, it's a charger. It's 13.5 inches diameter. It's engraved. It's been pulled from a single piece of copper, so it's not a pressed piece. This one is signed and dated, and it is signed. Owner is Mohammed, and it is dated 1758, I believe. I done a lot of research on this one, as you know, to find out if it was real, if it was a reproduction, and I ended up writing a big, massive article on Ottoman metalware. This is Ottoman Empire, 18th century, and bloody thing. Hang on, don't know what happened there. What did I do there? How do I close that? Sorry. So yeah, Ottoman Empire, 18th century. There's the signature. So that reads there. Owner is Mohammed, 1179. Now, what you do to work the date out, the date currently is 1440 something or something like that. And then you take away the 1179, and the remainder tells you exactly how old it is, how many years it is. Now, me, you, and Ali, a friend of mine, who originated from Morocco, we sat down over breakfast discussing this. And beautiful thing. Now, I only paid a tenner for this, and I'm asking 345. Now, I've done loads of research on it, and I spent days and days on that piece. Chargers, and I mean like 16, 17-inch chargers have sold through auction rooms for 16, 1800. You and I both know you can find them misdescribed for around £100 or less. for originals, but they're misdescribed, and you've got to look for them and filter through all the fakes and repos. That one's real. So it's Ottoman Empire, 18th century, signed and dated. So that was my first buy, and that came in Abergavenny.
There we go. I'm keeping an eye on this poll as well, and you've got 2 votes now before we've even seen anything. So I don't know what's going on.
You took your screen off. You closed your screen.
What do you mean, sorry?
Your share screen, you've closed it. You don't have to close it. I'll just remove it from the feed, all right?
Okay.
So yeah, that's my first one anyway. Absolutely stunning find. Believe it or not, that was just chucked on a table with stuff on top of it. And if you're out and about, Ottoman and Islamic metalware is really, really good money. It really is. You can share your screen key?
Can do.
There we go.
Look at that coming at me. So this is this came from Abergavenny. Now this is, I suppose, what you would call quite kitsch. You know, very beauty's in the eye of the beholder type piece. Not going to appeal to everyone, but it's a bit of studio pottery. And what you have there is a Nubian lady, or a kind of Egyptian area. Terracotta, then all molded, and then it's got some painting, and it's actually a wall, sort of wall plaque piece. So you just hang it by there. But yeah, it's got that kind of, quite an interesting piece. So it turns out that this was a bit of Scandinavian studio pottery. There's several designers who did stuff like this. I didn't name them in my list. And where did I? It's all stuff that I've done research on and then listed it. So Swedish designers like Irma Youngstone, She Gantofa, and Lahome, which is a studio. They all did pieces like this. It's kind of part of the Scandinavian kind of mid-century design movement. So it can probably be 70s, maybe 80s, maybe a little bit earlier. So this is just for somebody who likes having, you know, something unusual on the wall that kind of has that sort of interior design sort of mindset to them. It's certainly not going to appeal to everyone, but that's kind of why I bought it. I like having things which you know, grabs people's attention, and everyone has everyone will have an opinion on that, won't they? Some people will think it's ridiculous, some people will think
it's Marmite, isn't it?
Exactly.
But that's the good thing, isn't it? If you buy things that are not run of the mill, that they can't just find the price down the road for someone else selling it instantly, you got half a chance.
Well, and you know, you want to be grabbing attention, don't you, to some degree? You want people to sort of come, whether it be to your website, if you sell on eBay, you want people to be checking out what you're putting up, and like somebody will absolutely love that. I'm confident of that. It's up for 95. So that was based on finding, as best I can, similar examples. It is a large piece of pottery. A lot of work's gone into it, and it has that, as I say, it could even end up in, I see this as an interior design type piece, to be honest. So an interior,
it could make a room, couldn't it? It'd have to be the right room, but it could really make a room.
Yeah, you also see these like bars and restaurants these days. They have all sorts of funny things on the walls and stuff. So that's what you want if you're a bar and restaurant. You want people to come in and see things on the wall, and it stays with them. Then the place stays with them, and they all remember what they saw. So that's the type of thing worth buying, I think. So there we go. That came from Abergavenny. I bought it from Richard with a few other things. I think I paid him 15, 20 quid for 3 things. So as we go through, I'll let you know what was part of that deal.
Well, I like that. That's a nice thing. I actually saw it on the floor after you'd got to it, because I said to him, "What about the mask on the floor?" Thinking he hadn't put it up yet, and he said, "Your competition beat you to it."
There we go.
So yeah, I actually like the mask, and I would have bought the mask myself personally. So what can I say? Before I pull up my next piece, I just want to say, if anybody got any comments or any questions or anything like that, and you want to put them in the comment box, we'll get to them as we're going through, and we'll do our best to answer what we can. Okay, so if anybody wants to join in and comment, please feel free. So my next piece is a bit of American art. So what we got here is a Navajo, USA, American pottery. It's signed by Silas, and we have a seated coyote. So it's studio pottery, Navajo, let me get the signature, show you the signature at the base. It's a big piece as well. This is like 16 inches tall. And believe it or not, I've done a lot of research and I could only find one other, and there was no description about it, no price or nothing like that. Now, what I believe is these are quite late, probably 90s, 80s, 90s, something like that, from what I understand. And it's like studio pottery. But it is Navajo. It's signed SILAS, NAV for Navajo, and USA. So it's a nice signed piece of Navajo pottery. Little size of it there. All right. Absolutely love it. 175 I got on there for a nice bit of Navajo Southwestern art. And I just thought it was a real nice thing. It's in absolutely mint condition. And again, it's another statement piece. So I don't know what you think.
I think, yeah, exactly. It's similar to what I was just saying pretty much about the item I just threw up. It's find another, and it's got some like the design appeal to it, hasn't it? It's got the shape, got the story. Lovely.
It's got the look, it's got everything about it. And the fact it's Navajo, its art is signed. It's absolutely fabulous. So 175, and it cost me a whole tenner.
Beautiful.
I was on the table for a tenner. Absolute cracking little thing. So I was really pleased with that.
Right, we're coming to me. Right. Now, I promise you, I don't just go for the ugly faces or anything like that. It's just so happens. So this one is a small little studio pottery head of a like little boy. I've from what I can find now, this is not one of those things where there's like loads of information on this. This is a one-off piece, so you're more describing the style than saying attributing it to an actual artist or anything like that, because it's very unlikely you ever find exactly where it is. So modernist grotesque. So grotesque refers to kind of a style. The best thing I can probably mention here with grotesque is like the Wally Birds by Martin Brothers. So it's kind of those like exaggerated, it's kind of almost what's the word, I suppose? It's kind of like big in your face, isn't it? And just playing with like almost, it's like horror themes, I suppose, to some degree. So yeah, that's what I attribute this to being. Early to mid 20th century, probably a European piece, and it's just a nice little bust. Again, it falls into that category of being kind of kitsch, sort of thing somebody would buy. I don't know why. I can imagine that being in like an escape room or something like that, as just scared of people or something like that.
Yeah, it'd make a cracking prop now, wouldn't it?
It would. Now I've got to highlight this. This was a bit of an annoyance with it. You can see there. I actually haven't looked. I spotted this after I did the pictures, and I think the nose has come off and been glued back on.
The dealer didn't tell you, did he?
No, I assume that that's what it is. That's what the brown stainage is. It looks like that way here, doesn't it? Yeah. So I bought this in Ross and Y from quite a pricey little. I don't think it was an antique shop. It was more of a kind of vintage type shop, really. Yeah, I picked it up and it was not labeled or anything like that, and he didn't mention it. Now, as far as I'm concerned, if you pin it out on the shelf, you should, and it's damaged, that should be described. Like, I know you might not have remembered or anything like that, but it's out in your shop, and it was only a tenner, so it's not like I've lost my shirt on it or anything. But it's just frustrating not to be given that information from somebody who has a shop. I think that when you,
I was going to add in. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you up. I was going to add in, from the price of the rest of the stuff in his shop, he clearly knew that was a restored or damaged piece, because to chuck a tenner on it when you had little pressed glass jugs up to £20 and £30, I think he knew it was damaged.
Yeah. Well, that's why his shop was one of the reasons I said what I did earlier on about Ross and Y, to be perfectly honest. So I think you asked for a little Strathern Mini, which is £20-25 retail as far as I'm concerned. And he said 30 quid for that, which is fair enough. That's people can ask whatever they want, but like that just gives you an idea of the pricing. And if you're asking top retail, as far as I'm concerned, act like top retail. Describe your stuff, make sure people know what they're buying, have confidence in your stock. I don't see any problem with putting that on the shelf. I'm not saying I wouldn't have still paid a tenner for it, but I just would like to have known what I was dealing with.
A little AF ticket would have done, wouldn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. I don't actually think the nose is a big issue, because it's one of those pieces where you would have to look closely. It's just, it's got that look to it anyway, where it's a bit sort of rough anyway. But yeah, I won't keep going on. It was just a bit frustrating. But I put £45 on it. It was a unique little piece.
Okie dokie then. My next piece. We got a little bit of tourist wear. Now, tourist wear, as you know, everybody's hit and miss on it. Some people love it, some people hate it. I loved it because it was a zebra. I nearly called it a giraffe then. I loved it because it was a zebra. Now, it's not really nicely carved and got good movement, but these stripes are more like a felt pen drawn onto the zebra. I'm not sure if it's that. Have you ever heard of like fair trade carvings?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's a fair trade carving, to be totally honest with you, because I've seen some going through auction with this base and they call them fair trade. But either way, I just thought it was a really nice carved African zebra, a nice big size, good chunk of wood, and it got a good look to it. I paid a tenner for it. I'm asking 35. I just thought it was a really nice African figure.
Yeah, I think you're right. It does look like one of those fair trade carvings, but that doesn't matter really. It's what it is. It's nice, nicely done, isn't it?
I love animals. People love animals, and I liked it. It was a tenner. I thought, chuck it in. Who cares? Like, it's a tenner, isn't it?
That's spot on. Okay, so we come on to my next one then. This came from the antique shop in Monmouth. So this is the one that had all the amazing Staffordshire, but he had a few, this was just sitting underneath his dresser. This is one of these like proper enamel bread bins from the 1950s. This is a big size one though. So it's 15 inches high, I want to say. Yeah, 15.4 inches high, 14 inches wide. How many loads can you get in there, do you reckon? It must be about... It
was an oversized one, when it's just probably for a shop or something a bit more industrial, isn't it?
I would have thought so, for something like that. Maybe who knows, canteen or something like that.
Or a good manor house where they'd have had a lot more people.
Yeah, spot on. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you can date this so easily to like the 50s, 60s. Is that exact region when they started using this type of stuff. What were they using before? I think I did write it somewhere. No, this is more just before they kind of went to plastics and a lot of that type of stuff as well.
Right.
But yeah, it's what I'd call like a working antique. It's been used throughout his life for what it is, and nowadays, I think it fits bang into that kind of having the look again.
Yeah, that's also country house look is really in anyway, in it. So that's perfect for it. That could go in a £20,000 kitchen and still look good.
Yeah,
so I do like it.
Now it's just taken off. So yeah, it falls right into that type of movement. So I think that cost me 20 quid. I think it was in that shop.
Yep.
And I got 75 on it, and there we go. Happy with that one.
Nice thing. What have I got next? Okay, so this is the first piece of Indian metalware I picked up in Abergavenny. Now, this is high quality. This is cashmere. This is not pressed out in a mold. This has been pulled up from a sheet of copper, hand engraved. It's heavy. I think this one was 1.5 kilos, something like that. For a little pot as well, it's seriously heavy, but the quality of the engraving, this is all hand chased as well, mind. This isn't, just pushed into a mold or anything. All this has been done by hand. It's been pulled up into shape out of a sheet. It's 19th century cashmere, Indian at its finest. And you can see the thickness. It's really good quality, heavy piece, beautiful. There's the age. I paid a tenner, and it's absolutely stunning. Good cashmere work. And I'm asking 145 for that. But that is top quality Indian metalware.
Wasn't expecting it to be worth that much, fair play. I'm not running it down or anything. I just don't think I've seen
the cashmere stuff, the stuff that's drawn up by hand and all hand engraved is a lot more expensive than what you find in the early to mid 20th century that's just pressed out. There is a big difference. A lot of what you see on the market is just sheet pressed.
Yeah, like you see a lot of Indian brassware, don't you? Where it just got India like stuck into it, and it's not. It doesn't fetch much money at all. You got to differentiate between. I mean, India's a massive place anyway, so you got saying something's Indian is kind of not, it doesn't really do it justice. But yeah, you can see that's been worked rather than just thrown out for export.
Yeah, a beautiful thing.
Fair play. On my next one.
Sorry, yeah, I was waiting for you to put it on then.
I just noticed a typo in my title there, which I'll sort out. So this is only a little extra, like nice little piece. It came with the face and one other thing I bought from Richard for about 15 quid. And it's simple again. It's Indian again. Little wooden carved spice box. Let me just get the top of it. There we go. So just nice carving. I think it's called like a paisley design there on the top, all done by hand. Probably again mid 20th century. It kind of fits back into that KitchenAlia type piece, where people just like these kind of old kitchen items that just have that sort of, again, that nice sort of look to fit into the.
What was it? A spice box.
Little spice box, and again, it's been used. As you can see, someone's put in like kind of old paper labels. Turmeric, you'll never get that out. It's just a simple, pleasing little thing. It's not worth a lot of money. I put 20 quid on it. But you got it takes all sorts to make a world. So it's just a nice little object to have on the website where somebody wants to have a nice little piece for the kitchen, or again, just a nice little carved box, I suppose.
Well, we've discussed this anyway, haven't we? That you've got to have a lower range on your website as well anyway. Because not everybody comes to your website wants to spend £100 or £200 or up. Some people just like novelties, and it also helps with Google Lens and image reverse and things like that. So what did that cost you anyway?
It was part of the bundle for 15. There's one other thing in there as well. So I guess you break that down, it's going to be about £5. That's it. It's just a nice little thing. As you say, I don't really care about how much money some things are. I just think it's like a nice, pleasing, unique type of thing to go on the website, all done by hand. Buy it, put it on.
We talk about that all the time, though, don't we? That the history of the items and the art behind them and all the rest of it. Stuff these days, you only got to look at it and it's so boring, it's so utilitarian. Even cars, they're just all a box. You go back 50 years, everything had style and shape and pattern and art, everything, wasn't it?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. This is nice. This is a crest, but this is a helmet plate. So basically a cap badge, if you like, but it's a helmet plate in solid brass for Metropolitan Police, City of London. And it's mounted on a plaque, but look at the detail on the moulding or casting of this brass. And that is brass. It's not plastic. That's brass mounted on oak. Really nice thing. City of London Police. Would you believe I paid £5 for that in Abergavenny again? Come from a jeweller's. Absolutely stunning. Now, anybody in the police force would love something like that on the wall, I would think. But I love memorials. I love anything to do with crests and memorials anyway. I've always loved them. And that was a solid brass memorial for £5, and I'm asking 40. For that, I just done some research. I'd never seen one before. I'd done some research, and people were listing them as helmet plates and selling them for around 50 quid, so I undercut everyone else.
The City of London Police set different to the Metropolitan. Well, it must be. I think the City of London's the banking district, isn't it? So
is that a banking district? I don't know. You know more than me. But
makes it a bit more interesting.
People were listing them on eBay, but they were adding in the listing that they were discontinued, so they were allowed to sell them, I suppose. Basically saying they were old, no longer in use type things.
Yeah,
must be something to do with eBay's rules and regulations. I don't know, but yeah, that was a nice thing. It cost me £5. And what do I have it up for? Hang on. 40 quid. So yeah, nice thing. I thought it was really nice.
Oh, okay. So this is a good thing. So this came from a charity shop in Ross and Y. Now, if you're familiar with your Chinese porcelain, you'll know this pattern certainly. It's Famille Rosé, rose medallion, all hand painted quartz in there. You see the gold ring where got that dollar gold, which you know it's an older one rather than a later used sort of chemically gold. Nice square shape. Now, why I think they thought this as being, I think they described it as a vintage Chinese porcelain. Vintage to me would suggest they think it's around 1970 onwards, which because it says made in China, which is what you would associate with kind of later made porcelain. But this type of mark actually has a bit of an interesting history. In 1891, I think it was the McKinley Act came in the USA, which said all items being imported into the US must have a country of origin marked on the item. That's why if it was from China, you would just see just China for about 20 years. And then it was changed to say it needs to say where it was made. So it would then say made in China. So this type of mark can start showing up from 1910 onwards. And that's when this one will be. This is an antique one, probably 1910, 1920s. It was sold in the charity shop for a tenner because they thought, I just presume they thought it was later. It's still not a massive profit on this one because this type of porcelain, I mean, it is any type of antique Chinese porcelain which is common. It's going to be the Famille Rosé export, Cantonware. Yeah. But it's a lovely antique piece of Chinese porcelain in good condition, nicely hand painted, that you can buy and have as part of a collection. A lot of people like Chinese porcelain across the world. Not everyone can afford the high prices a lot of it gets. So a piece like this, it's one of those, you keep it for 30, 40 years in the family and it'll be worth even more, won't it? It'll just keep going up in price and like this. So
well, yeah, there was times when the Guangxu period was frowned upon and so forth, and now look how sought after that is. So yeah, it'll have its day. And 10, it was a lovely find. But I want to add in a little bit about that charity shop. Now, it's not going to turn into a charity shop bashing match, but what I will say is we did, I would say 25 to 30 charity shops in one day when we went out buying. And we do charity shops as a regular, and very rare do we see a charity shop of that caliber. And what I mean by that is they had a cabinet with gold in it, with silver in it. They had listed art on the walls. They had Chinese porcelain and collectibles, Royal Doulton, and some really nice vintage pieces, including antiques, in their shop. I give you an example. They had a solid sterling silver heart pillbox for £20. The only reason I didn't buy it was a little bit of it wouldn't shut. The lid was all twisted. Otherwise, I would have bought it and put up for 45 for Valentine's Day. But it was a refreshing change to go in a really nice charity shop where the stuff was making it to the front.
Yeah, definitely. I think that is I'm not got any interest in spending my time doing charity shop videos where we talk about how high they are and stuff like that. I think everyone knows how that is. My problem is the stock. I know I'm not feel like I have a good awareness of the quality of stuff they have donated, but how much of it actually makes it to the front of the shop is going somewhere. Now I know with the big charity shops, British Heart and all that, I'm sure that good stuff is being siphoned off to probably London and going on their eBay and stuff, and that's fair enough because that's their way they all make the most money. Might even put stuff in auction and stuff. I won't go off too much off, but there's some charity shops or community shops or reuse shops where they don't do that, but stuff still doesn't make it out to the front. So you can only sit there and wonder what goes on there. But you're absolutely right. That charity shop had quality in there. They were asking, close to full retail. They left a bit of money in it, probably. But
I think they were fair.
Yeah,
I got to be honest with you, right? I think they were fair because that pillbox at 20 quid, right? If the lid had closed, I'd have put 45, 50 on it. You bought that plate for 10, you're putting 45 on it. They had that nice piece of art on the wall, limited edition print that I was looking up, and there was 25, 30 pound left on there. Overall, they were fair on their pricing. They had that nice trench art vase for £7. I didn't buy it because it didn't have enough value on it for me. But I got to be honest, that was one of the better charity shops I've been in a long time.
And they presented everything nicely. It was a nice place.
Beautiful.
So,
yeah,
If I
He
lived
was done
in
up nice.
there a lot. Yeah.
Okay, moving on. And my next one. Oh, this is heavy as well. This is like 1.5 kilos again of brass. What was it? It was good size to it. 7.5 inches and all. 7.5 inches long. 1.5 kilos of brass. Look at that. I don't know what model it is. An old vintage car made of solid brass. I just loved it. I thought it was such a quirky little thing. I give a tenner for it. But in all honesty, I think that's about its scrap value. It's got to be a tenner, 10, 12 pounds just in the scrap. So I don't know what you think of that, but it was a lovely thing, and I got 40 quid on it. Purely because I'd done the research and people are selling them between 40 and 60 then. So 40 quid I got on him.
Yeah, but my mic just muted itself so easily. Yeah, it's one of those things I probably would have walked past, to be honest, but I can see now that you've had it and you put it up there, it's got something nice about it. So yeah, fair play. Looks the part. I think there's a few of those items.
I've sold those cars. I've had probably 30 or 40 over the last 20 years, and they buy them. Now, I could have taken the time to maybe have a look to see what model car it was trying to be, but I just thought I'm going to put it up as a vintage car. People like them, and it would have sold.
Perfect. Okay, my next one. This actually was another charity shop find in Ross and Rye. I think right at the end on our way out. That was all like little charity shop as well. To be fair to them, I can't remember who it was or anything, but it seemed all right in there. This is a bit of Chinese export brassware. Circa 1900. So it's got the little dragon motif there. It's quite nice. This is a footed bowl, and it's engraved all the way around. So I'm skipping past things faster.
That was a lovely colour on the inside, wasn't it?
That's what you want, isn't it? You know that's not
Look at the colour on that. That's beautiful. You can't reproduce that colour.
No. That's years and years of just being out in the open and just developing slowly but surely. The bottom then, just going back to what I was saying earlier on about the marks, this kind of proves it. This one is marked China. So we can date it to around the 1900 date based on what I was saying earlier about the McKinley Act. So yeah, just a nice piece of Chinese brass. Got that nice sort of, I think called Lei Wen or Greek key is another name for it. That sort of pattern going all the way around. But you got to remember that's been done all the way around twice. Look, that's not something they've just cast and sent out. They wanted to add this sort of decorative flair to that.
It's a good looking bowl.
I've just had 60 quid. Probably it might be worth a little bit more. I actually couldn't find another one in that type of pattern with like the wavy bowl and then the footed bowl. Usually they just come a more plain rounded bowl, to be honest. But yeah, I'm happy with that. It seems like a good price. I think I paid £15 for that one.
I'd have bought that.
Yeah, nice thing. I was happy with it. There we go.
I like the early Chinese metalware. I got to be honest with you.
Yeah. It's interesting that they did a bit more than just, as I said, we mentioned like kind of Indian brass, which comes out now, which they're making to this day. A lot of that is just bang out. This stuff was, they spent a bit of time on it, even if they were just exporting it,
No, I know. Okay. Okay, so now we got a bronze candlestick. Now, this is a library candlestick. It's adjustable, which means this piece, the branch goes up and down. It is a reproduction. This is not a 19th century one. It's probably second half, last quarter, even of the 20th century, but it's solid bronze. It is absolutely stunning. It's in really good condition, lovely color on it. It's just a really, really nice decorative candlestick. But yeah, so you unscrew that, and obviously the branch slides up and down. It's a good looking thing. It's a shame we weren't a Victorian one, but I got to be honest with you. I feel a lot of the gentleman's stall was 20th century reproductions of 19th century. But it's a nice thing. I paid for it. I believe I paid £30 or £32 for it. So it didn't come in for nothing, but I rated it. I really like it. I've always bought and sold candlesticks, even single candlesticks, especially Georgian and Queen Anne even. So yeah, I thought it was a nice thing. I thought that will dress any room. It'll look amazing on a table, you know, a nice candlelit dinner, romantic dinner or something like that. I thought it's well worth his money. I put 85 on there, and we'll see what happens. But I think it's absolutely gorgeous.
It is. It is. It has got a good look to it, and I did see it on the table that day, and I bulked a little bit at the price, but I did buy a couple of other things from him, so it was just more.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think if I bought that would have maybe took me over to about 100 quid, and I just didn't quite want to do that. But it's interesting when you say there about brass, 'cause I find that a lot at the minute, it's maybe something people need to be more aware of. Is that like that's a good mid-century reproduction? You know, they've been reproducing brass for many years, but I'm just starting to see a lot of this brass, which is probably, again, to be honest, I'm gonna go, but it's probably made in India. Then it comes over here cheap, and then people are like aging it by, you know, leaving it out in the garden, doing all sorts of stuff. You got to be careful. You've got to be careful. It keeps popping up, I'm finding.
Yeah. Now, I got to be honest with you, a lot of his stall, I felt, was 20th century pieces, made to look older. I got to be honest with you, but it was some beautiful stuff. I'm not knocking the stuff at all. He had some beautiful tanks that I wanted, scratch-built tanks. I wanted one of the pieces you bought. I took a photograph of it to go and have a little research on the money because it wasn't a cheap item. And by the time I turned around, someone else was swiping the card.
I was there before you though, because I was doing.
I'm not disputing. I
mean is I was doing exactly the same thing. So I was doing exactly the same thing, and then you came along. I was like, "Oh, he's not going to take that from me while I'm doing this." But there we go. That's part of the game.
Okay, moving on.
Oh, here we go. Enough. A few little Oriental pieces have come in for me then. So this one being a little bit different again. So this is Chinese Swatow, so the Swatow region pewter tea caddy. I'm spotting a lot of little typos here on my stuff, so I have to go back and have a look at that.
That's Russian, isn't it?
Yeah, so there we go. So it's a pewter tea caddy from late 19th century to the early 20th century. So the city of Swatow is where a lot of pewter was made, and they had this hand engraving, all done throughout. This one has a bird kind of pattern on it. See if I can get a good image of that. I think is that it? No, that's not great. There we go. It's on the top as well. It's all just engraved all the way through and kind of hand hammered and everything. And yeah, these pewter tea caddies are surprising like values. They kind of range quite a lot. When I was doing the research, I was finding that some of these were going for high hundreds. They do have a bit more of an engraving style to them, but these were made to go out locally and for export as well. And then this mark is on the bottom, so it's all. I think I've translated it in my listing somewhere. Yeah, it'll be no second price stamp. Yeah, there we go. I won't go into loads of detail with it. It's all there if you're interested. But it's a modest price for this one. I didn't go for the high hundreds. I thought it was a nice one, but I didn't want to. I thought I bought it okay, so it's gone up for £80. I bought this alongside another item from the same gentleman you're talking about with your one, and I think I paid 70 for the two, if I remember right.
It's a really good item, and I was just going to comment on how good you made it look on the photo. You've done a cracking photo over there.
I do try. So
the photo sells the item, doesn't it?
Exactly. You gotta find like something that has that sort of clean background and looks like it's holding its place. So there we go. Can't go wrong with Chinese.
Thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. My honey pie.
Thank you.
Okay, where are we at? Yeah. This was interesting. When I saw it up there, I thought, what a really Dr. Christopher Dresser influenced piece. Because that's what, when I saw it at a distance, I thought that certainly has a resemblance to Dr. Christopher Dresser. Anyway, got up to it. It's a piece of studio pottery. I did have to get help. because some numpty by you was actually looking at the mark upside down and went through my books and couldn't find it because I was looking at it upside down. Anyway, it's produced by a gentleman called John Hermanson, who was a British studio partner. Now, for most of his life, he worked on mass-produced industrial, like cups, bowls, things like that, on a mass-produced level. But he's in his 80s now, and as he come to the later part of his life, he retired from mass production and he just makes one-offs. So there isn't going to be another one of these. He just does one-offs as a hobby. So it's signed on the bottom. I think it's a banging style. I think it's absolutely amazing on the shape. And I think it's definitely, it would go in any studio pottery museum and look amazing because the shape, the quality of the potting, he's clearly, you know, that old adjective, you know, where you can, there's a story about a teacher who goes into school and he says to one group of people, he says, your entire semester is to make as many pots as you can. And he goes into another class and he says, your entire semester is to make one of the best pot. It has to be the best pot you can make. And when they come to the end of it, the people who were just knocking them out actually turned out having the better pot at the end of the year because they'd done so many, they got really good at doing what they were doing. And it's the same thing here. He's really done a good job. And it's absolutely fabulous. There's the mark. And it's a JH monogram. And I was looking at it upside down. Teach me to turn the mark over. Lovely thing. Mint condition. 65 I put on it. And it's 8 inches tall. And I think it was £5 or £6 I paid for that.
Yeah, I would have gone for that straight away if I'd seen it first. I love that's what you want for studio pottery is kind of that, you know, you want individuality, someone who's sort of breaking the mold, I suppose, and just doing their own style and yeah, playing with themes. So I think that was great. Nice little piece. Oh, thank you. There you go.
Somebody's loving your tea caddy, fella.
There's a poll.
I actually like the tea caddy, and I would have bought the tea caddy had I seen it.
It's
and just as a heads up tip for anybody, right? There's a pewter tea caddy, Chinese pewter tea caddy with I Ching around it. I'm not sure if it's pewter with I Ching liner. Yeah, I think it's pewter with an I Ching line, or it could be I Ching with a pewter liner, one or the other. Anyway, they sell for thousands. So keep your eye open for one of them.
It's one of those pieces. It's easy to walk past as well because it's not. It doesn't jump out on the table a lot of the time. Those little tea caddies. So keep an eye out for them. Oh, no, I like this. This is one for people. Welsh people will probably appreciate this more than most, to be perfectly honest, because it's a big part of our recent history, which is the coal mining tradition in South Wales. There's coal mines open across the valleys, right across South Wales. All across the South Wales valleys, and each of them all had their own what's it called now? The colliery. Well, there's loads of different collieries, and the miners would be going down and working in the dark for 10-15 hour shifts, crazy amount of time down there. And one of their little things they would take down with them is their little snuff boxes. And of course, easily lost, easily mixed up when you're down working in close compact areas like that. So they would always, most of them anyway, would always have their name engraved, which colliery or what town they're from, and then dated. It's also part of, it would have been bought for them as a little gift as well. So that's these are amazing little social history objects that we have from our part of the world. And most people who live in South Wales have some form of connection to that coal mining tradition. So it's just a very powerful thing to people in this area. And of course, there was coal mines across, not just Britain, but across the world. So I'm sure there's similar stories and similar feelings across the world. But this is a nice little copper one. What I particularly liked about this was the town is Bedworth, which is where my, if you watch my videos and see where I film, that's the town my little unit is in. It's an antique one. It's all named. It's nice. It's copper as well. Usually, most of these are done in brass. Copper one being a little bit rarer. And that's kind of it, really, with that one. There's a bit more information there on the listing. I'm asking £65 for that. It came in as a group with a few other things. I think I paid £100. for 3 things, and I'll show you 2 other things as we go along.
I think it's lovely, and anybody who follows my channel knows I absolutely adore anything coal mining. I've got lamps, checks. If it's coal mining, I love it, and I think that's amazing. I love it. Twist boxes, snuff boxes, anything like that, highly collectible.
Yeah.
Nice thing. Okay. So, I got a large, very heavy brass signal cannon. All engraved on the top, dated 1812. It's obviously a reproduction. That was when the original was. It's got this star on the top. I'm not sure what the star represents. You might be able to tell me. So it's a good size. It's a really good looking desk cannon, and it's really, really heavy. I don't know if you've seen that star and that anywhere before.
No, I don't know. What's the date? 18? Is it the dated?
1812.
Yeah, it might be referring to a battle that happened in that date.
Yeah, probably. But a really good looking cannon, really heavy cannon, in lovely condition. And I just think it'll make an amazing desk ornament. I got 75 on it, and I paid a tenner. Again, he sold it to me under scrap value. I don't get it.
Yeah, that is a...
There's about 15, 20 pound in scrap on that, and he sold it to me for a tenner. Could have took it to scrappies and just melted it. But it's a good size cannon. It's heavy. It's beautiful. Absolutely stunning.
A lot of people don't think about brass, copper, that type of stuff today. They only think about it with gold and silver, to be honest. So,
well, I'd never scrap it anyway, but you know, you've always got that to fall back on.
Exactly. Well, it's another one. So another antique one. So this one's a little bit different. It's sort of nickel silver plated one. A bit more decorative. This one. So another snuff. What I mean by another one is another Welsh coal mining snuff box. This one is for a John Wall Heath Ter, which would have been a street, so like Heath Terrace. So that street's probably still there in the town, being in this year. I think I said that right. So yeah, it's a bit more of a decorative one. This probably would have cost a bit more money to make it at the time. And it is dated on the back. Here's the back of it, 1920, so a little bit older as well, and a nice little bit of decorative flair there. So I think John here had one of the better snuff boxes when he was down there, showing off a little bit. Yeah, nice thing again, and it's £10 more because it's got, it's a little bit more different and a little bit more decorative. So £75, which is a good.
Have you ever been to the Big Pit?
Yeah, I have. Yeah,
they have an amazing collection of snuff and twist boxes. You want to see it there? Absolutely amazing.
I don't think I've been to the museum part of it, or their collection. So I should just go down and have a look. Yeah. I'm not sure
maybe we'll do that when we do one of our little trips out. We'll do it as a little exhibition bit. But yeah, the museum part of it is absolutely amazing. I've been there, been underground there, and the museum is outstanding. They got some amazing lamps and tons of snuff boxes and twist boxes. Absolutely lovely to see it. It's really nice.
Nice.
Oh. This is scrap. It's a scrapper. It's not a working watch, but it is 935 silver, so it's even higher than our 925 silver. It's a lady's pocket watch, all engraved. I would assume German being 935, fully hallmarked inside. And I bought it purely because it's solid silver. And scrap silver now is up like £2.20 a gram. Nobody's paying that, of course, but it's up about £2.20 a gram for spot. And unless I'm mistaken, there's like 20 grams in these, 15, 20 grams in these, something like that. I haven't ripped it apart, but the way I looked at it, I paid a tenner for it. I've chucked £25 on it. If someone wants to come and repair it, use it for parts, or just rip it apart and melt it, it's on them. But I paid a tenner for solid silver pocket watch. I basically bought it for the case.
There's a job, isn't it? It's not a lot to say, really. It's a
non-runner. Right. I bought it because it was solid silver. You don't get that much silver for a tenner.
No.
That's why I bought it.
Yeah.
David Barbie. Wasn't he the gentleman who died? They done
I
a
don't know
dedication
that
to
is.
David Barbie, didn't they?
I don't know that is, sorry.
I'm sure when I used to watch them years and years ago, I'm sure David Barbie was the gentleman who died, and then they dedicated the last episode to him that he filmed. I might be wrong, but I'm sure he did.
What episode, sorry?
It'll be probably Bargain Hunt or something like that. Or an Antiques Road Trip. It'll be one of those.
Fairly. This was good. So this was part of the £100 then. So it's 2 snuff boxes and then this as well. Now this is a very nice piece of Japanese cloisonné. So cloisonné being the technique where you have a metal vessel. This one was copper, and then an enamel, and then a line. Basically, an enamel is placed over, which is like a glassy type substance, and then copper and gold wire used to create and fused to create this beautiful pattern. This one is a little bit unique in a certain way because it's got a presentation box, which you don't often see. It dates about the mid 20th century. Silver rims. I think that deep red ground color is really nice. And then all the peach blossoms, beautifully done. Absolutely love it. I always seem to come in with a bit of cloisonné on these trips. Now, the reason this was chucked in for cheaper, because I think perfect condition, I see this as 140, 150 quid piece, is this bruise here. Now, we've talked about condition before. Condition seems to get people to just really write it off, even dealers as well. And it's happened twice with cloisonné now. The last trip we did, I had that Chinese bowl, was sold pretty much instantly, which I had for £5 because of a tiny little nick in it. It was a lot, much smaller than this. But it was a £5 because they said I was damaged, so just a £5. And this one is, it's got a big bruise. But it does happen. These are so much more fragile than people realise. It's still there, I know it's annoying, but it's not the end of the world, is it? And it's certainly not worth writing off the whole piece. If you put it like that, you can't even see it, can you? So this one was nice as well because it actually comes with this label where it actually tells you the process of making cloisonné, which is quite a nice little interesting addition. And it comes with its presentation box and just looks apart. Now I'm only asking £85 on it. I just kind of went in with a quite novice price. I thought that's a fair price.
I've got a big, massive charger in the same red by the same artist on my site, so I do like them.
I was very happy with it. Very happy with it. So there we go. I just asked £85 on that. It's available, and that covers off 3 items for £100. So I think we're looking at, for 100, I'm probably asking about 230, 240. Which is all right. Can't complain that, can
you? Yeah, he did die. Now, the one episode that stands out, and you might remember this with David Barbie, was he was on Bargain Hunt and he turned a clock like that to look at it for the contestants, and the movement fell out and shattered all over the floor.
I can't see.
Yeah, he may remember that. And cloisonné, hard to sell if damaged. You've done all right with the last few pieces you've had, and they've been damaged, haven't they? You've done well with them.
Yeah, there's degrees to this, isn't there? There's degrees of damage. And what it comes down to is what you're asking for it, and whether it's still presentation, whether it still can be presented. And I think it does, and I think that's a modest price for a lovely piece of cloisonné. So
I want to add in as well, since I want this as an educational video. Damage doesn't always destroy value of an item. Depends on rarity of the item, the age of the item, the rarity. There are a lot of things. For example, English Delft, 18th century Delft, it's extremely rare to find a piece undamaged, yet still valuable. So damage has to be taken in context. I know the TV tell you if it's damaged, don't touch it. But that last cloisonné vase you bought on our last road battle, you paid a £5, sold it out within a day of the video going out, and that had a bit of bruising on it.
Yeah, very nice. Very nice subscriber to both our channels, actually. Very nice lady. But yeah, that had a small bit of damage, and it went out really fast. So you've just got to play. There's no sort of hard or fast rule with what you do with damage, because it does depend on the item, and that's what you got to think about. But don't rule it out just based on that. Have a think about it.
Right. So the reason I got multiple up here is because I bought a massive job lot. I bought a huge job lot of nearly 60 of these large metal. I'd call them lead, but I don't know if it's lead anymore. But I bought 60 figures, all by Del Prado, and they're like 4 or 5 inches tall each, and they're all cavalry on horseback, all different battles, I believe, and they're all still sealed in their cases, everything. Now, I bought them in with a bronze pot I'll share with you at the end, but I paid 150 for the 60 pieces, or it's about 56, 57 pieces it was, for £150. So it works out £2 something each. I've broken them up into groups of 10 at £70 a piece for 10s. And you can see, 2 seconds, I got a group of 6 per there, so it was 56. I got a group of 6 for 40, and then I got 5 groups of 10 for 70 each. So it's about £390 return for 150 outlay, but that'll be nice. It's not exactly an antique, but they sell. People like them, and I got a shop, and in all honesty, they look good on there. People like these. I'd call them lead, but they're not lead, are they? They're whatever the composition is they use now. But nice thing.
Do the job.
A lot of work involved in them, though.
Oh, yeah.
I don't touch auctions. You find it hard to find genuine antiques at boot fairs. Last year, Kieran and myself done Madly car boot sale almost every week, and almost every week one of us come back with 18th century Chinese porcelain. Kieran come back with some really nice Chinese wooden. What were them boxes you had? What were they for? Those carved figure boxes.
Boxes.
Men, the Chinese men. End of the season.
Oh, right. Yeah, they were just figures. Yeah, they were boxes. Sorry, I got distracted by something then. So sorry. What was the? What were we talking about?
Oh, it was on about. He said he finds it hard to find stuff at boot fairs, and I said, "Well, we both had a load of Chinese porcelain last year in Madly. I had some 18th century drinking glasses, had some really good silver and gold, and you had those Chinese wooden figures or boxes, wherever they were."
You got to put the yards in, haven't you? Like, we had plenty of boot sales where we were struggling. You just got to keep going. Auctions, I haven't bought from them for a while. I do find, in my opinion, they've kind of inflated prices again, very close to retail now. It's very difficult, but that's not to say you can't buy at all. I had two or three of the best buys I've ever had at auction just last year as well. So I think it's a case of you just got to keep looking, haven't you? There's no right or wrong answer, really. You just got to
I don't like auctions because I find it's a race to who's going to take the least profit at the end of the day. The auctioneer has already described most of the items for you, so everybody can research the value, so it's who's willing to take the least profit. Where if you go to an antique fair or car boot sale, you're digging in the boxes, it's all down to your own skill level then. I'm digging it out and how much work you put in. Now, I'm not being funny, we're at the car boot sale 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, in the dark, digging in the boxes before the public even show up.
Yeah.
Collector's items, sealed, good sell. Yeah, they are. They weren't exciting, but they were sealed, and there was a lot of them, and they got to be worth sort of £7 a figure, sealed. So, there was a no-brainer.
Yeah. Well, it's an interesting one. Never had one of these before. It was in the antique shop in Monmouthshire, and probably the best item I got from there. And I'm going to save that to last to see if I can sweep home the victory on my last buy. But I bought this as part of that group. I paid, this would have come in about 20 quid. I just thought it was a bit different, a bit of a decorative piece for the home. Again, just something to have on the shelf. It's got that kind of old industrial agricultural look. What is it? It's a beekeeping smoker. from the early 20th century. So that's copper, then it's got leather, bellows, and then a wood sort of platform there. I did it again. I said it early on. Working antique, something that was used, had a purpose when it was made. These days, I expect beekeepers have far upgraded equipment to that, but I just thought, you know what, it's just a nice looking thing. That's literally why I bought it. Nice looking thing, nice patina, got the age. Somebody who wants to have something different on the shelf just to sort of add to that room. I think it does the job, and it's only 30. And I've 20 quid to 35 quid, not a massive profit, but don't mind having that. There is a nice decorative piece.
It's different, isn't it?
It is.
Do you want to answer that one?
Yeah, but that's what I was referring to. That's the best thing I've ever bought, and that was at auction, and that just kind of drifted through. Nobody else was interested, and then the research, and then the authentication I got then from Mr. Peter Coombs just told me it was one of the rarest things I ever could have bought, and that was from an auction, and that was ridiculously cheap as well. So I'm not going to sit here and say auctions aren't a good place to buy. I just think in general, you got to stick with it, and you got to have a lot of patience and look at a lot of stuff before you find those little gems. Is what I find.
So we've had a funny year because we've both bought the best item of our lives this year. I bought my Chinese teapot, I Ching teapot at a car boot sale for 3 quid, and you bought a Japanese porcelain bowl at auction for 20 quid.
Yeah.
Both best things of our life.
Yeah, that's
100%.
what's driving up the prices these days. Is people will just check every single item, won't they? The thing about that Japanese bowl, it was so rare that not another one existed, so nobody could Google lens
Couldn't
it.
look it up.
Yeah, so that's why that worked out quite well.
This is absolutely glorious. Now, take a look at all that. All our work, again, has all been chased in. It's another Indian piece, cashmere again. It's like 2.5, 3 kilos of copper. Beautiful thing. 19th century again, but wait until you look at all the work. As again, it's all hand beaten, all hand pulled up copper. It's not pressed out. Stunning thing. And you can see all the different sections where it's been soldered together. It's just a lovely thing. So cashmere again, absolutely, finest Indian copper you can get, and I got 275 on it. But if you actually look up cashmere ewers and pots and that, some people are asking like 800-900 from. So that's a really, really competitive price. Might sound expensive, but it's a really competitive price.
Well, I've got to have a real think about these because I've done a video on Islamic metalware, interestingly, and I think I saw that. I think I did, and I decided not to go for it because I have quite a bit of like Islamic metalware sitting there at the minute. I've got a big list as well, so I kind of thought to myself, do I want to add to it? Because I just find they're a bit slow. They can be a bit slow, but that doesn't mean if you're prepared to wait on it, which we know that you are, and I am to a large degree, then it's worth waiting for. So yeah, that might 100%. Be something to have a think about. Not just be put off on this idea. Well, I got a load of them, so I don't want another one. I don't know. If you say you saw another one now, you would probably buy it, wouldn't you? I suppose you've got to think.
I wouldn't buy. I'd buy them if they were cheap enough anyway, because you've always got the scrap base metal value and so forth. And the people like copper and brass, they really do. But when it's all hand pulled up from a sheet, when it's all hand chased, all handmade, there's a lot of hours goes into it. When I look at antiques and I'm buying antiques, some of the things I'm looking at is how is it made? How long does it take to make? Have they took them a lifetime of skills to learn the skills and things like that? Yeah, I don't want mass-produced stuff unless it comes in for nothing like.
Yeah.
So yeah, I loved it. Another cashmere piece that came in off the same buyer as the 18th century Ottoman plate and the other cashmere copper pot, and I paid £20 for that pot.
There we go.
Which again doesn't even cover the scrap value. So a lovely Satsuma vase and a box of junk, crockery at auction. I got the box returner, sold the vase on eBay for 150, but don't always get that lucky.
Nice. 15 to 1.
It happens, yeah.
That's what you want.
Yes. I'd say be general, broad. That way you'll never fail. If you're specialist and there's nothing there within your speciality, you can't buy. So I say go general. And what do you think?
Well, it depends on what you want to do. Like what we do is broad. We're kind of a what's the word? We just go out and just see what happens, don't we? Kind of thing. If you're a specialist, you can be a lot more tactical, strategic, and patient and stuff like that. So it depends on the type of person you are, and what your passion is, and all that type of thing. Right then, so this is a nice little thing, nice little decorative picture. You know, under no illusion, people would have seen these before. But I thought this was a nice one in a charity shop for £5 in Abergavenny, I think. It is an actual silk rather than just a print. But they were made, you know, there's a lot of them sort of went out. There's a sign there, nice sort of butterfly image there, and then just sort of the peach blossom.
Yeah.
No, peony. I think peony.
Peach bloom.
Maybe it's that. I don't know.
Peach blossom.
Nice sort of. I liked what really made me just think this would be all right. Actually, was the frame interesting enough? It's kind of that bamboo gilt kind of wooden frame effect, you know. So I thought it was a nice frame. It's a nice decorative piece.
Yeah,
that's what it is. Mid 20th century, and it's 40 quid for a £5, 40 quid. There we go. Which is a nice little thing to buy.
Nice bit of art on the wall now.
Yeah, certainly is.
Okay, so this one come in Monmouth, so we're done with Abergavenny. So we got a Maltese glass paperweight, but it's a really nice example. It's from Gozo Factory. It is signed. Now this was in the chat shop in their cabinet, and I love all the colours, the iridescence on it, everything. It's a hand-blown paperweight, and there's the Gozo signature. I paid 15 for it. They're not that old, and I'm asking 35. Now, normally you see Gozo paperweights 20 to 30 pound, but there was none of these available for anyone to buy. So I may be chancing my luck by a £5 or so, but it's a nice paperweight, and I like paperweights. And I thought there's no competition because only the run-of-the-mill ones are out there at the moment.
Yeah, well, it's a big collector's market, isn't it? And they all want something a bit different.
Yeah. So it's not the run-of-the-mill Gozo ones that they normally make. Let's say it's not that old, but it is a really good example. So yeah, I was happy with it.
Spot on. Okay, so this was, I bought the Scandinavian head. What else did I buy? Can't remember now. There was something else. 3 things I bought from Richard. It was this, something else. I can't remember what it was now. I have to have a double check. So this anyway is a bit of Islamic metalware as well. Small little bowl. I'll get this image here. So what you have here is all like calligraphy, Arabic script. That's all silver inlay and copper inlay.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to have, I think, I think Ali had a look at it and he said, I think he translated one of the words to promise, but he said this is just one of those dialects which is you'd have to spend some time trying to translate it. It will just be a general kind of goodwill message across the piece. Nice piece of old brass. I think these get overlooked a bit though, because people do see them about and they won't pick them up. But they've got a little bit of value. Obviously, if you can get bigger pieces or more elaborate pieces, then you're talking even bigger money. But even these little bowls have a bit of value. So my prices are based on what I find with something like this. I go on eBay and I look for like other sold examples. A bowl like this would sell for about £35 on eBay. So I'm happy.
Yeah.
I paid about £5 for it. I'll sell it for 30 quid. It's got a mark on the base. Just a nice little pleasing thing. Early to mid 20th century. Known as Mamluk Revival because the Mamluks were a dynasty which were known for having pretty good art history, effectively is the best way I can put it.
Yeah.
during medieval times. So they revived that in the late 19th century and the early 20th century. It's also referred to as Cairo ware as well, because these were made quite simply in Cairo in Egypt. But they were also made in Syria as well. Just pleasing little bowl. That's all I can say with that.
Another name, I suppose, for, I don't know if it's the same stuff or very, very similar, is Damascus. And now I've watched videos on how that's made. And I can tell you now how impressive it is, because they make the brass pots, they hand carve them. Now, the reason this writing is so hard to read is because that is somebody's handwriting. So you imagine trying to read somebody's joined up writing that they've carved in by hand, then infilled with silver, right? It's extremely difficult process. It really is. It's an amazing video to watch. If I ever find the video, again, I'll put it up on the channel. But to watch them making the Damascus metalware and this same stuff, this Cairo ware, is absolutely fabulous, because the work that goes into it, they spend a lot of time, a lot of hours carving it, and then inlaying all the silver and the copper. And you can find them with bits of gold in and all.
Yes, you can. But certainly the older ones. This is, I think it's called Damascene, is the technique. I think it's the technique of this type of metalware is called Damascene or Damascus metalware. But it's kind of interchangeable. But yeah, pleasing little thing, and more than happy to pick that up. There you go.
You want to answer the comment?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I agree. You know, these silks, they're nice to look at, aren't they? And they'll fall into that category as well, that they would have taken a lot longer to make than people realize. There we go. That's how the market goes.
No, it's a Michael Harris connection. I didn't know that. The book fair start up? No, they don't start up for months yet. They start up end of April for us. There are still some indoor ones if we travel, like we can go to Abergavenny, I can go Resolving or Bristol, East Compton, but yeah, that's about it for us. Nothing till Easter. Bear with. Right, yeah, another paperweight. So, I think this one was up in Monmouth, I think, or Ross and Y. You went in one shop, I went in the other. You picked the wrong shop.
Yes.
And we have a really, really nice, it's Welsh Royal Crystal, but it's overlaid crystal. So basically they make it first of all in clear, then they case it in this blue glass, then it's called cut to clear. And they cut these windows then to showcase the engraving on the foot, on the base, and it's absolutely gorgeous the way they do it. It's obviously a what do they call that? Zodiac signs for Pisces, the fish. It's just a really, really good looking paperweight, and that cost £5. That's all it cost. It's flashed, it's overlaid, it's cut to clear, it's top quality paperweight, and again, I'm asking £30. And it's Welsh crystal.
I thought that was a Web Corbett when you brought it out. But similar shape.
Yeah, Web Corbett do a version. They done a version in the sort of 70s, 80s, didn't they? But that's a Welsh one.
Yeah. No, that's really nice. Nice colour to it as well.
I love the colour on it, and it was a good size to it and all.
Right, I've got two more pieces left, and they're probably my two show
Starbuys.
Starbuys, yeah. So this is the first one. This is a very interesting, pleasing piece of brass. So it's a hanging. So you can see there the chain would hung down. Ceremonial temple bells, also known as a ganter. And you can see they have these sort of elephant heads cast in there. And then they have these you can see all the crude cast in there with, you know, the nail there. Let me just show you a few more pictures as we go along. You can see there, that's kind of a crude sort of bell as well with it. Yeah, really impressive. I mean, it's not something you see very often, something like that, is it? Imagine that hanging down, just looking the part.
That's the item I photographed to go and do a little research on prices, and Kieran was paying for when I wasn't at the stall.
Yes, I think Richard said as well, if he bought, he couldn't buy it because he would have kept it. And there's just a picture of it hanging up, and just a final picture there. Let's try and get a bit more of a close up. Yeah, I love the patina on it. You know, you've got this extra cast in there as well. It's just got a lot going for it. You know, we talked about the look. Sometimes you can't really describe what you mean by that, but it's just something that I was trying to think of the setting where you would put that. I guess somebody could just chuck that in their hallway or something like that if they got high ceilings. And it's just a great thing to sort of be able to bring in and just grab people's attention. People will, you know, love the look of that as well. Doing the research on this, they do still. I was wondering at first, we were talking about like brass that can be remade these days and sent out. They still make these type of things for like export brass, but when you have a look at them, they're totally different. Like the nails, for example, are like machine-made nails, whereas these will, you know, these will what they called hand-hammered ones. And that is, you know, you can see the rust and the crudeness of that metal bell. That's got a bit more age to it. I'm not saying it's old, you know, mid 20th century, maybe going towards the early 20th century. Nice heavy piece of brass. The age isn't that important with it. It's just one of those pieces that I don't think many people have. You know, the only other one I found, which was like getting closer to an antique type one, was on a Russian website. And I translated what they were asking. I can't remember the Russian currency now. Is it like rubles or something like that? Rupees? No, I think that's Indian. I don't know what one. But anyway, they were asking like 750 quid on their site. I don't know if that's to do with the Russian economy or something like that, but I just thought fair price. It cost me. So I had this in the Pewter Tea Caddy for 70 quid, I think it was. Which was a good deal. I put them up for 150. Which means
it was because you wanted 60 off me for that.
Yeah. There we are. Managed to get him down a bit. You didn't rate the Pewter Tea Caddy much, though. So I think that's what. And that's what he said 60 to me for that at first. And I wasn't quite happy with that. I wanted to find something else to try and do it. That's what I'll do sometimes. If the price is a little bit too high, I'll try and find something else to try and see if I can get the combined price down. And that does seem to work. I'm giving away my tips here. But it does seem to work. I think when you start joining things up, people will start thinking, oh, he's buying 2 or 3 things now. So they're a bit more generous, I find, with their deals. But he was a bit immovable. I don't know if you found that. He wasn't happy taking much off at all.
He knocked the fiver off my candlestick, I gotta be honest. So, you know, it was more than the 10% trade you normally get in antique centres and things. So, yeah, I can't mourn.
Yeah,
and he did have some nice stuff.
Yes.
100%. I don't know where you live, but Gloucester, Madley, Ross on Wye, some really good ones around. And yeah, we get Clog Eye all the time. Clog Eye it's always on the boot sales around here. Oh yeah, I didn't really. We got a late 19th century Majolica spittoon. So it's probably Staffordshire company, shell motif all the way around, and it is literally for when you're chewing tobacco, you just spit it in. The Chinese used to use it. They'd chew herbs, poisonous herbs, believe it or not, half the time, and then spit it into the spittoon, and then you'd pour it out. We had this in the charity shop where you had the Chinese brass bowl on it. But it's an English Majolica. I don't know, is it the tortoise shell colour on it? Either way, nice thing. It's got shell motif all the way around it, unmarked. Definitely a Staffordshire factory. And they charged me a £5 for it, and I'm asking 30. So nothing special, but it's a nice item. I wasn't going to leave it there for a £5.
Yeah, I quite like the use of it in a way. Like it does take you back to that time. No one would ever make that now, because that just doesn't work in our modern way of life. But it's quite nice.
Imagine how unhygienic it was.
You are?
Imagine how unhygienic it was.
Oh God, exactly. It's like those penny licks as well. It's the same sort of thing, isn't it? Where it's like that would never happen now. So they're very much of their time. All right, this is my final item, and this is how I'm going to try and win it because I'm going to play on the sentiment on the dog lovers. So this is I think we both love this. We could see it. So at the end of the day, the last shop we went to was in Monmouth, and it was an antique shop. It was a bit funny because you could see the window, all of his stuff, but he wasn't in there. You had to go around and knock the door. So we were looking. I think we both probably just assumed it's been a long day at that point. We're probably looking, thinking this isn't going to be. We're not going to be able to buy anything in here. But I said, no, I'll just go knock the door, take a chance. And it was the best decision you could have made because we went in there and the guy was very nice, very generous, and it was. Even if we didn't buy anything, I would have been glad to go in there because it was very interesting to see what he had. He had the best Staffordshire collection I've ever seen or known of. And it was actually a bit of an eye-opener as well because Staffordshire is not exactly the type of thing we go out looking for. It's seen as being something that's out of favour.
Big time.
But he had such good pieces. I was looking at it and going, I don't know why I haven't given Staffordshire, the early Staffordshire that is, like early 19th century stuff, more respect and learned a bit more about it because this stuff is incredible and it's a lot better than the later repros. But this was sat at the back of the store. We could see it through the window, and it was like, it grabbed our attention from there. I'm going to show you some photos now. So it's a collie dog, large in size. Look at that face there. Somebody's going to just not be able to take their eyes off that when they get in their house, especially if they have a collie dog or anything like that. Just beautifully molded, really impressive in size. How big is it? 28 centimeters, 11 inches by 12 inches. So really does stand out on a shelf. And we just absolutely loved it. Now, you will see, I think with Staffordshire, they kept the molds, didn't they? And then used them throughout the 20th century.
Yeah.
But the painting was just not quite as good. So you do see this figure remade in the 20th century with the same molds being used, but it's just you have to zoom in on the face and see that this is what a late 19th century good quality one looks like compared to his later repos. And he came in. I think this would have come in probably costing about 60 quid when I because it was done as a deal with some other things. And I put which I again think is a good modest price, 150 quid on it.
I love it. I love the dog when we saw it.
Yeah. And there it is.
And you've already won someone's heart there.
There we go. That's what I was aiming for. So it's a compared to a lot of Staffordshire you get, which is why that's the story of Staffordshire is that it got reproduced way too much, didn't it? And and it basically devalued the whole market.
So what killed it was the Chinese copying it.
Yeah, exactly.
As they did with everything, innit?
Mm-hmm.
Right then, so where we at? Okay, so this is a charity shop buy. This is a limited edition print of a military Art Royal Gurkhas Rifles. So the Gurkha Rifles Battalion on parade. It's a limited run of only 150, but this doesn't even come into the run. This is an artist proof. So this was the artist proof to check and examine and make sure he was happy before they done the 150 run. So it's a really nice thing. It's military collectible. I love the image. There you go. AP for artist proof, but it was 150 run on the limited edition run. There's the maker, which is Alex Barker, is it? Bear with me. Alex Baker. And it was the Gurkha Rifles, 10th of September, 1994. And it's a big, big picture. 26 inches by 21.5 inches. And this was sat in a charity shop window, and they'd put it up for sale half price because they'd had it for that long. Nobody bought it. I don't get it. It was absolutely stunning, artist proof, everything. And I had it for 15 quid.
Yeah, I would have grabbed that if I seen it before you. It is weird why that wasn't picked up. I would have thought a dealer would have picked it up, to be honest, more maybe than the public. But,
100%. So there's that. Then I had this, which is fabulous. Now, the can of Pepsi there is not doing it justice on the size. It's huge. I struggled carrying it back to the car. This is 19th century. It's Majolica. It's a Jardinier or a Planter. It's oak and blackberry planter, so it's got all the pattern. It's got the pink interior you see on the Minton, pink on the flowers. It's spectacular. I was looking at this through the gentleman's door. It was the same shop that you had the dog from, and it is phenomenal. Now, it's got some damage, unfortunately. It's got a hairline running down there. But I do think in mint perfect condition, it'd be probably 3 times, 4 times the price. There is a mark there, 72. Now, that could be the year 1872. It could be a mold number, I don't know. But look at the quality of that for Majolica. And it is huge and extremely heavy.
Yeah, I don't think that condition. You kind of expect a bit of condition issue with Majolica, don't you? It was known as being a bit of a very fragile type of pottery. So
I got to be honest with you, it belongs in a museum. It's really that good. So I got 345 on there, and I bought this and the next item for £100. So let's say this one owes me 40 quid, and the next one owes me 60. So got 345 on there, and this is the next one. This is a 200-year-old Derby porcelain campana, if that's the right word, campana vase. It's a Regency porcelain. Now, these flowers are all hand-painted. Now, I don't know the artist, but you're talking artists like Billingsley, who worked for Nantgarw and Swansea, and that painted for Derby. This is spectacular. It is huge. I think it's 15.5 inches tall. It's a really big vase as they go. It's spectacular. All this gilding is all applied by hand. This is all hand-painted. It is just just amazing thing. Now, it ain't without condition. It's always got some staining on the underside. We'll get there now. But look at that. It is absolutely breathtaking. There's a bit of staining on the inside, minor. And got a couple of patches like this on the underneath, which are, again, I think very, very minor. When you consider the thing is over 200-year-old. So you're talking 1815, 1820, something like that in date. Little hairline there as well on the shoulder. But there you go. I got 650 on there. Now, when we were in the shop, the gentleman said I got 150 on there. When we got home and looked at it, there was a price tag of 750 on there. So I don't know whether he made a mistake or whether it was wrote down wrong. I don't know. But I've looked them up, and people are asking nearly £1,000 for 6-inch versions, and this is 15 inches tall. So it probably owes me £60. And look at that painting. It is absolutely top quality, world class.
oh, stunner, absolutely stunner. Yeah, I wanted that one, and I whipped past it in the shop, and it's just how it went. So there we go. It's a beauty.
As porcelain goes, right, that is up there, top in the world. When you got artists like Billingsley coming from Nantgarw and Swansea porcelain to paint for Derby, then you know you're talking good quality Regency porcelain. It's a fabulous item. It's huge. Do I put it next to the can just to give you an idea? Look at that. It's massive. And all hand painted, hand gilded. It is fabulous. But I have got one more piece to share with you. And that is this. And I don't know what it is. This is a solid bronze box. Now, my research is pointing towards Africa, Ashanti. However, we tried it on an African specialist group and got no joy. It's solid bronze. I'm going to share the images with you. It's got all these symbols around it. So you've got squares inside the squares, inside the squares, and circles and so forth. And you've got this star. Again, the triangles. Now, this box is lost wax method cast. It's got the holes here inside where it would have the bar to support the bronze when the wax melts so it didn't move. And for a 6-inch box, this is 5 kilos of bronze. 5 kilos, work that out for a 6-inch box. That's how thick and heavy this is. It's spectacular. There's a perfect example of the symboling. Look, you got all them squares inside it. Now that is an Ashanti symbol. But we haven't been able to confirm it or anything yet. But you're talking a fabulous thing. You can see the verdigris in that. Okay. Now, the lid, you add shrinkage to the main body, you add shrinkage to the lid. So as a fix, a period fix, they put these spikes in the corners as little locks to hold the lid on. You can see the thickness there of the bronze, and as I say, and you can see the two holes there. So you got one there and one there, and that's where they would put a rod through the wax to support the bronze and hold the wax in place to stop it moving when it was melting. So it's definitely lost wax method of casting. How old it is, I don't know. I thought African, but we can't confirm it. So this is a mystery piece until I figure it out. But it owes me £20, and I can't even put a value on it because even without knowing what it is, it's going to be £100, £200. If it could be thousands. There is just no way of knowing what it is without taking it to a specialist expert.
Well, yeah, the specialist expert in what though is the problem with
I
that
don't know.
one.
I genuinely don't know. Honestly, I have no idea. Hand painted picture, so beautiful. Can't imagine how long it took for the artist to paint that. I presume that's the flowers on the vase. Yeah, it was spectacular. Honestly, the vase was the showstopper when you saw there on the day. It was.
Yeah, no, I loved it. It's me being honest now. I know we're having a bit of a competition, but if I had to pick one item out, it would be that vase. I love English porcelain for that period. You don't see it very often. Even in auction, you don't see it very often.
No.
It'll be one of those things, you know, like with Nangaru now, it's like starting to emerge a lot in auction. I think it'll be the same for that stuff at some point. I think people will start passing away who have been collecting and holding it. But at the moment, you're not seeing it. So, yeah, stunning piece. Yeah.
Well, all in all, it was a good day, wasn't it?
It was. It was a good little trip. Again, they are worth doing. They're good to do from an enjoyment point of view, and they're actually good for business as well. You know, we spent a bit more money this time. It was a costly affair.
It went for about £600, about 600, 650, something like that. But I've listed it for over 3,000. And genuinely, right, every price is researched. Even that Indian cashmere stuff, right, it's all researched. And I still got that bronze container to go.
Yeah, look, you spent more than me. I can't. You probably work out when I said it. Going back through it, I don't think I spent a great deal. Probably about half, maybe a little bit over half what you did. But my profit margin wouldn't be as far either. So I guess it depends how you want to look at it. We haven't sort of set any rules on how you vote, do we? It's just more.
No, you vote however you want to vote. I'll be closing the poll in a few minutes now. Before we shut it down. So if anybody got any comments they want to put up now, now's the time. Did you treat yourself to a charity shop haul? No, I didn't actually. I went out and had fish and chips with Sandra. It was lovely. And I'm going to put the call on Saturday for more fish and chips. So yeah. So let me go in and close this poll. So if you want to vote, now's the last minute or so. You got anything you want to add in, Key? You want to plea for anything?
No, I didn't. I think the items can speak for themselves, and I trust the
How do you end the poll?
Stop the vote.
How do you end a poll? Do you know?
Nope. Maybe just I don't know.
Let's stop. Oh, hang on. End the poll. So, who won? Kieran had 33%. Walter had 67%. Thank you very much. Huh?
What do you win?
Hang on, let me just share that for you. So I don't know whether anyone can see it on there. Let me just share that. If I come over here, this is the studio. No. Why is it? Anyway, there you go. 67 and 33. I can't get it to come out tidy. Never used that what do you call it? Control room before. Nightmare. Anyway, it was a lovely day out, and we'll get another one planned in a few weeks' time, I think. I think the next one is Botanic Antique Fair.
Yes, I believe that is the weekend, first weekend in February, I think, about 2 weeks away. So we'll build up to that.
You have a supporter.
The pressure's on now, isn't it?
In Kieran's defence, I do have 30 years on him.
Yeah, we'll weight the polls in that and that. So I'll start off with a 25% head start next time.
Anyway, anything you want to add in before we shut it down?
No. Thank you for joining this evening. I hope you enjoyed just seeing the antiques, and I hope it was the enjoyable videos. Is the only other thing is they're difficult for us to push out there and get some eyes on for all different reasons with how YouTube is working at the minute. But I hope if you are finding them, you are watching them, I hope they're enjoyable, and we are open to feedback about how to film them, how to do them. Just let us know. It's always worth hearing what anyone who got any suggestions for improvements. I always appreciate that. So
yeah. Now you can see round one of the buy-in side on Kieran's point of view on his YouTube channel. Mine will be on the website soon, as will this video will be on the website in a few days. But I'm going to give you a copy of it, and you're going to put it onto your channel, you know. So this will be on YouTube, but it'll be on Kieran's channel. So if you're not a subscriber to Kieran's channel, go across to Taliesin Antiques and thank you very much. Yeah, go over to Kieran's channel, Taliesin Antiques, and make sure you sign up there. And as I said in the video today, I'm not sure where my channel's heading, but I'm going to do the live still on the channel, and there'll be more of a casual channel. But this one will be down in a few days now and over onto the website. But thank you very much. I had an absolute stormer of a day, and it was amazing.
Absolutely the same. Yeah, thank you very much.
For everyone who watched, thank you very much.
Cheers all.